Greetings to the President and Commander-in-Chief and to the entire collective leadership of the EFF. Namhlanje, we are here in Soweto during this month of August, which is a Women's Month. As the EFF, we are celebrating phenomenal women, exceptional women. We are celebrating Izimbogodo, women who have done exceptionally well in their fields where they find themselves in. Namhlanje sixoxisana with one of our favorites, the legend Portia Modise. Silana eSoweto namhlanje so that we can be able to speak to her and get her encouragement during this month of August. Portia, welcome and thank you very much for namhlanje uxoxisane nathi.
Ngithanda ukubonga sisipopi nami ngiyabingelela. Ngithanda ukubingelela nabo member EFF, especially to women at Women's Month.
All right. Sis Portia, we know very well that you are one of the remarkable women who has done excellent in the fields of sports, especially soccer. And as Kandla now, you inspire us. We appreciate you and we love you. So namhlanje sifuna ukuthi usitshele ukuthi njengoba we are here in this field, yilapho uqale khona as a young talented person ukudlala khona ibhola and usadlala ibhola namhlanje kule ndawo le. Tell us a bit about your background.
Oh, sisipopi, like YCT Jabavu, this place they call it M9. There we used to have a school la poverty ihlenyiwe. Then we have a school Lana again. Then I grew up playing here. I think it started in a challenge. You know, when you grow up in township, you always have these guys that's all Nabo. Then my brothers, they used to play here. There was a team that they used to play that used to train here. Then normally bazongithatha because they needed to babysit me sometimes because abazali bangekho. So bazongithatha banglethelana. Then you know there's always those balls that they will be lying around abangawasebenzisi that they were extra balls. Then I will take one and try to see ukuthi nami ngingadlala njengabo bhuti bami. You know, only to find out ukuthi I can play. I was gifted. It's not something that I have learned how to play it. I think when I started nje ukubamba ibhola then I started to play here. My talent is iqale and you know, we always talking about it development space where most of people when they start to achieve, they don't go back. They don't think our development space is very important because nathi talented eqala la eBukwini. So I'm grateful ukuthi ukukhula kwami lana ngikhula nabafana that they were very open-minded. They were not stereotyped in terms of a gender. But I like them to go to my boys. I always say so good. They had good parents. You know, their parents, they were open-minded in a way. They taught them it doesn't matter if she's good accommodate. So I was lucky enough to accommodate her, and yeah,
that is very great. And when you are a young woman ukula ekhaya uthola ukuthi abazali in some cases uma uyintombazana baye babe nezifiso ngempilo yakho ukuthi they would want you to ukuthi babone lokhu kwenzeka ngawe. So ekhaya ebazalini bathi zenu uma babona ukuthi wena uthi mina grand ngithanda isoccer and ngifuna ukuphesiwa isoccer, azange ube nama challenges baye bakusupporta bekunjani ekhaya mawukhula?
You know, Sispop, what was funny is I didn't even know what was going on with me. You know, when when you grow up being different. I have sisters. I can see the way my sisters behave. I see myself, I'm behaving totally different. You know, baba zobathengela bona pop, mina ngifuna bona pop, ngihlala ngifuna ibhayisikili, ngihlala ngifuna izinto ezifuna amajensa. So but I was also lucky ukuthi I didn't have umzali that was really stereotyped to say uyintombazana, you need to get married, sifuna amalobolo, kumele wenze abantwana. I think my mother gave me the opportunity to say as much as umntwana nami ngingam-understand, but it's ngimuphi chance ngibone mekekhula ukuthi kahle kahle yini lento azoba yiyo, you know. Then when I grow up, of course, you know, mona bomamncane abo auntie they always say hey sifuna inkomo kumele ushade kunomfana sikuthandela yena lapha, yabo. But see, I stuck to myself. It's not even was a choice. I was born like this until I think I understood myself, because one thing people, they think when we born like this, we understand what's going on with us. It also takes time for us to understand what's going on with me. I can see myself, which I'm a very different girl, but even my feelings, my emotions are very different. They're not like women, you know. So I think having that in my mind, Yoguchi, I don't even understand who am I. I didn't have time to try to explain it to people. Gitiba Velebang understand that very quickly, and when I understood myself, for effect to my brothers, because I was always in Abo, they were the ones who say, "Kai, I'm a negla no passion," because they used to call me passion. I'm a negla no passion, man, no passion out. So I like Gucci Nabo Putbami. They were never against Gucci. Tomboy. I would say I grew up starting being a tomboy, and my brothers, they used to say, "Yeah, all right, when I'm gonna say tomboy, I'm gonna go meet Lalipola. I'm gonna focus kitchen now." So I feel blessed to Gucci. My parents, they were supportive, me being gay, and yeah, I'm fortunate Gucci in family they never judge me, and I never find any difficulties me being gay. I'm gay free.
That is excellent. So I think, Portia, what you have raised is very much important, because as young women in South Africa, especially looking at the issue of LGBTQI plus community and okulela elokshini and yourself and an identity yako, as much as ushuguti when you were young, you did not understand ukuthi why do you like things they were all standing, why you are so much different in other girls. Uma bafuna ukudlalisa abo Barbie doll, bafuna ukwenza izinto zokuthi yabona bayaphekisa amatiya. When at that time you were like mina ngifuna ukudlala ibhola, and wena ufuna uzibona usemajiteni lapho. That is very much encouraging, because we've got young women in South Africa right now, because of the stereotype that is happening in South Africa. Our young people are very much scared to be able to speak about who they are, about their identity, about their gender. And in our corner, it's been mainly because there's so much hate that is happening amongst abantu abangazi ukuthi uPortia ugay and uPortia uhappy.
Yes.
So in high school, take us back to high school. How was your high school life, and how did you balance izifundo zasesikolweni, italente lakho, ipassion yakho? How did you do that?
You know, Mrs. Poppy, when I have to talk about my high school, it was really not an easy high school for me, because I was coming from a very disadvantaged background, where my mom was disabled. She's disabled, and they needed to really make sure we can survive selling alcohol. Sometimes you don't sleep early, go high, you sleep late. People, they still drinking, and you need to accept that, because end of the day you need to think so I when I started to play football, and when I started to be introduced go under 19 the national team, I think my life go high school started to be difficult, because I was always go polong, not go high, and I couldn't really catch up. And for a fact which I was doing the legal 50 run that I was doing go the under 19, I felt Gucci is a game changer for now. I can take home at least the legal incentives, go higher to help my mother. Then, you know, I came back home one day, I was struggling to catch up, go school. Then I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna stop. I think I'm gonna stop going to school. I'm gonna pursue my career. Because in my head, I thought, Gucci, if I could sacrifice my schooling, and if I'm good with what I'm doing, I'm sure I'm gonna have money, I'm gonna get paid. I just have to focus and concentrate and work hard and achieve what I want to achieve, and one day I'll be able to support my family. But I guess I was wrong, because not understanding the situations about the dynamics of women's, you know, in sport, in corporate businesses, how they have their challenges, and not being recognized the way they deserve to be recognized, and not being given the rights that they deserve to be given as women. You know, so I've learned that along the way. You know, I chose the wrong path. As much as I did well, you know, on it, you know, encouraging a lot of girls out there, being the role model, you know, inspiring a lot of, you know, even men out there. They will say I'm a role model to them. You know, some of them, they will say they'll look up to me. But it's sometimes it kills me to take that as a pride, because I look at myself, I'm like, if it's something that I need to really embrace and be proud of, I need to live out of it. I'm not living out of it.
You could put everything on the line as Portia Modise goes for a spectacular goal, and Modise shows her world-class ability. Her 72nd international goal, and what a stunner on the stroke of an hour has given South Africa some hope in this match. Hedvig Lindahl beaten from halfway out.
This is Portia, because women like you, we need them in our society in South Africa. We need women who are like you, who are very much fearless and who are prepared. You can say I'm complaining, you can say or you can say ngikhuluma kakhulu, but we need women like you, Portia, so that you can be able to say those who are very much scared, they can be able to stand up and be able to talk and stand up. This is me, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. Because as women, manje in South Africa, sine gender-based violence, that is rife. That is killing our women every day.
It's bad.
And bayasaba ukukhuluma, Portia.
It's bad. You know, when I say sporting, you simply the situation, because I will always say, I'm sure the members of LGBTIQ, they also have a job, you know, to do. I always say they need to do campaigns, they need to channel, you know, communities, they need to make these conferences that they invite parents, they invite us with our parents, you know, because end of the day they need to be taught, you know, neighbors, they need to be taught about this, about people like us, because each and every generation they will have people like us. So if we're not gonna start to really talking about our situations and making people aware, there are people like us, we're not going anywhere, and there is nothing wrong. I will always say, you know, people, they will say ni gay, straight, gay, and people, they'll say, put me in a good closet. I was never in the closet. I will always ask to straight, put me in a good straight closet. Like, dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, look at me as a human being. As much as I could practice my humanity to you, and because people, I think, they distract when they don't know now they're starting to have problems. I see a low situation. Look at me as a human being. As much as I have respect to a lot of people, the way I behave, sometimes I'll say naughty. People like Abafana and Abu Portia, we need to know how to draw the line, because sometimes amanyama situation, we bring those situations to ourselves. We need to be disciplined. We need to really understand, as much as we fighting for our freedom, we are fighting for our rights, we're fighting for our human rights, because we're still human. We still need to go slow. We still need to be slow to our communities, because there are people that who are very heartless out there. As much as we tell ourselves, so we just have to slow down and try to bear with communities and slowly teaching them, there are people like us. Each and every generation there will be people like us. We still need to start to do campaigns. We need to channel schools. You know, I always say we have kids like me that they went to school. Sometimes bafunge toilets, toilet. You know, even abanye classmates, you know, they don't know how to associate now. We need to channel schools. We need to teach these kids from schools. When we teach these kids from schools, there are people like us. It will be easy for them and go teach their parents. When their parents start to talk wrong, when they see something on TV, this one that has been getting a knowledge from school will start to teach their parents, they are normal, you know, they are human beings. But if we're not gonna start channeling this from schools, we're still gonna find hate crimes from schools, our kids being killed from school, and our gay boys being bullied from school, because other kids, they don't understanding what is going on. Especially other kids, they hear their parents, the way they talk, they bring it to schools. Exactly. So I'm just saying, there's something that needs to be done, you know, from schools. Everything needs to start from schools, man.
Exactly. And another thing as well is that it must have been very much challenging when being in a woman in soccer, and also now there was a time you mentioned that people were like, asazi ukuthi uPortia simpeke kuphi. uPortia umfazi udlala ibhola or uyigay udlala ibhola or uyindoda udlala ibhola. How did those words made you feel as a human being?
I think, you know, I grew up very tough. I think I was tough in a very young age. I grew up with boys. Boys, they'll say stuff. You know, some of them will say, hey, we're not passing. You know, I think as long as I'm to step up, but I always say, it's not like everyone will be stronger than a Posh. Some they will need, you know, protection. You know, we need to just create that space. Even our athletes, there are a lot of gay athlete people, but they're scared to come out just because they will lose their endorsements. They will lose their respect out of communities. They will lose, you know, the fame that they have just because people, they will never start seeing athletes anymore. They will start seeing gay people. You know, I think people, they need to understand Gucci, and even our government, they need to start to understand good. They're not just gonna give us rights basically they don't practice those rights. They need to start making sure Gucci, even in our working place, our bosses, our managers, they start to practice that Gucci. Or every employee that is surrounding people like us understand Gucci, we have those rights, we have those freedom to be amongst them. You know.
Now, looking again, Uguti, we have a huge case in South Africa. One of our own, she's doing very well in athletics, in running. One of the women, Semenya. Do you think what is happening with her case is unfair, and how should we be able to look into that?
You know, I think it's unfair because Ukasta was born being a woman. You know, and she chose that path. You know, and I feel good. She needed to be supported. You know, we needed to stand by her side. You know, and because she's been putting the country in the map. You know, for Ukasta not being able to participate, you know, in these Olympics, we lost as a country. We lost the recognition as a country. We lost one of our athletes in those participation. So I do believe Gucci, the committee, you know, sports recreation, I think they need to do something. Our minister, they need to make sure that they don't lose a sport just because of their gender situations. She was born like that. I always say she was born like that. She didn't choose to be the person that she is today. But at the end of the day, why now? Why now? Because no one can defeat Ukasta. Now we're starting to have problems. You know, I do believe Gucci, you know, when I would always say when white people they can't beat a black person, there will always be issues. They will always have issues. So I'm just saying, Gucci, we needed to stand by Ukasta. Ukasta has been presenting the country so well. He's been putting women in the map. He's been encouraging a lot of young girls that they wanna run, they wanna be like her. But if we're not gonna support Ukasta, we're still gonna have such situation. Kids are being born. We're still gonna have kids who are like Porsche or like Ukasta. What are we gonna do with it? She's over Shambalaza the way we're doing it, or we're gonna find a way of creating a safe place for them, you know, to make sure good people they understand people like them. Because at the end of the day, they coming with something that it's contributing in the country. They have a talent that is really making an impact to young women out there. Why can't we find a way of helping Ukasta without doing this, without making Ukasta as in like he was never important in this country? That is true.
Now also, Maubegile Portia, Uguti, where we are right now, and in terms of yourself, where do you, because out of everything that you have told me right now, I ask myself, Uguti, where do you get the willpower? Where do you get the strength, Bandla? So Guti mawuvuka yabona ekuseni namhlanje izinto azihambi kahle, conditions are not fine, and now uyabona ukuthi your spirit is down. Where do you get that source of inspiration?
I think my community first, their love, their support, their appreciation. You know, I always said, you know, when I will become a star, I don't want to.
You are a star. You are our star.
I will say when I was speaking it, when I'm a star, when I'm a star, I don't want to lose Ikaslami. I don't want to leave Ikaslami because I want these young kids to see ukuthi ngiphuma phi ukuthi ngize ngibe la ngikhona. They have to have a record of my background, of my development space, you know, ukuthi when they start to fail themselves thinking ukuthi la ngiphuma khona it's a disadvantage, I will never make it. But when they look there, but mara nangu Porsche,
yes,
we achieve la phuma nathi like us.
Yes.
I always wanted to be closer ukuthi even these young kids when they want advice nyana ngingabi kude, just to motivate. But his strength, I think ngithola kakhulu efamily yami, you know, my manager, you know, my friends, you know, like I said, you know, my partner.
Exactly.
You know, without them, I don't think Gucci, you know, I was gonna be where I am. Sometimes it hits so hard, you know, going back and thinking the things that you have done for your country and the way your country is failing you. So I pray, man. I pray every day. I pray Gucci. Things they will change. I pray for these people that are making bad decisions. I pray for them. I do, you know, a lot, and I feel good. One day their heart will change. And I'm saying good to women. You know, women, we celebrate Women Month,
yes,
each and every year. But I don't see change in women. We need to have a purpose why we're celebrating these months as women. We need to start to grow our minds to start to support each other. We need to start to practice this as women, to say, if we start Tina as women to support each other, we'll teach these men, you know, we can empower each other. Without them, now they'll start joining. But if Tina we're failing ourselves, then we expect them to support us, then we're fighting a losing battle. It needs to start with us. We have a lot of women that have power. They just need to stop being selfish. They need to start to have a purpose of why they are leaders, why they're having the power that they have. What is it that they want to contribute? You know, these days people are dying, Joe. What is it that you want to leave when you die as a woman, knowing good there are a lot of women growing up, you know, behind you, and when are you holding the power to make sure they grow having the power that you have? You can create opportunities for them, but you're not doing anything. You're just sitting. Where you're sitting, knowing which women are struggling. So I'm talking to you and a powerful woman out there to say, change that mindset, Joe. Look back and say, now there were people that, you know, supported you until you have the power that you have. Plow it back to those young women. Give it back so we can have more women that they will hold the power to change the situation that we have. We're crying for a gender equality, but how are we gonna get that gender equality if we're not empowering a lot of women?
Exactly.
We need to empower a lot of women. So when we have a number of women, one day we'll have that mantra that we're crying for.
Exactly. And now, understanding very well, Portia, that you have started your foundation, Portia Modise Foundation. And also, we are here at this Fields sports ground where you started your love for football and where you are still practicing right now. How do you feel seeing the space, Lana? It's been almost 20 years. It has not been developed.
You know, it's sad because there was a time I wanted to do something about this place because I felt this place developed a lot of people. It was not only me, but I could mention a lot that they became stars. They played professional football that we all met here when we started our careers. When I won the Sports Star of the Year, there was a money that I was supposed to donate, you know, and I was still waiting for it. I
never got it.
Yeah, I share my vision. I share Gucci what I wanted to do with that money. I wanted to play it back, you know, in my community, fix this and make sure Gucci, these young kids that are playing in front of us now, they're having a better you know, a platform, you know, to really showcase. And also now we can come back, you know, and plan back what we have learned, what we have achieved in these young kids. We can create, you know, a facility that Tina, not as legends, we can come back and utilize, because we don't have those platforms that we can go back and utilize and give back as legends, because we don't care about our communities. But it's not easy not as legends to find findings or we wanna nature our the next Portia Modise, the next Jabupule, the next whoever. We're fighting to really get those recognition, to get sponsors. You know, for me to create a Portia Modise Foundation, I really wanted to help the situation that is happening in women's football, not really only in the field. There are those kids who want to go to school who are coming from disadvantaged families who doesn't have money to pursue their schooling. I wanted to be that foundation that could get funds for them and go and pursue studies, and I wanted to help those who I see the talent that they're coming also from the disadvantaged families that they can really take care of themselves. Maybe as a foundation we can manage to give them that grocery each and every month, because girls, they need pets, girls, they need lilets, girls, they need washing towels, they need those sport bras. I felt the situation when I grew up experiencing in football, Sisharama sport bras, Sisharama tights, dude, that was not on. I felt having the foundation, probably I can be that voice, I could be that change. For a fact I played, I know the struggle, I could try, to fight and make sure I limit these embarrassing situations, because they are very embarrassing to women. It's not Ayoba. I don't think Bafana they even share tights because they are men. Can you imagine if us ladies we can share tights, share even the sport bra? Who does that? I felt Gucci. I need to talk about these things. They'll set me free. At least if people know, they rather fail us knowing Gucci, they know what is going on. Yes. And it's what is happening. People are failing us. The only thing about South African people, they take everything as a joke. I don't understand. But end of the day, it's me telling the truth. I'm not gonna back down. I don't care Gucci Amtanda or Amtandi. But I'm just saying I'm laying the foundation. That will want to play women's football one day, because when maybe where you're sitting, you're thinking Gucci will never have a daughter or a granddaughter that will want to play one day. Then I want them, Gucci, when they have an opportunity, when they recognize good they can play, they'll get better situation than what we got. They can get paid, they can drive cars that they want to drive, they could buy their mother's houses to thank them. With the goals that I have, it was very difficult to buy my mom a house. I needed to thank my mom, but I can't. I needed to thank my family, but I can't. Sometimes I need to thank myself for the effort that I have put to make sure Gucci, I make women proud out there. I make South Africa proud out there. But hey, it's still a struggle out there. I can't even look back and say 1, 2, 3 I have just because of my legs. So I'm just saying, Gucci, guys, we need to change the way we think here, especially about women in sport. We need to give them a better life.
Now, as we said that this month, Women's Month, August, as the EFF, we are celebrating, we are honoring, we are appreciating women that are doing well. Today, we take this time to say to Mrs. Portia, we are very much proud of you. And now that you have started your foundation, we hope and pray that somebody out there can be able to come and assist. You have shared the struggles, you have shared the challenges that you have faced, and you have also told us that you do not want that what has happened to you to happen to another young girl out there, to another young boy. Now, as the EFF, we want to say, inspire us, Portia. Speak. We are behind you. You've got our support. Thank you very much, Portia.
Happy Women's Month.
Happy Women's Month.